Seek to serve or pay to play. One of the quotes my mentor used to say. Made a rhyme there, that's cool, right? Both are viable and both gain you proximity. Pay to play is when you gain proximity through you actually shell out dollars. You pay to be in a room. You pay to be in a mastermind, in a conference, in a seminar, in a Zoom room. You pay to have proximity to either a group of individuals or a individual. That has its role. Today we're going to be talking about seeking to serve through adding value. I believe that when you seek to serve through value, through bringing value to the table for the individual, you build a much stronger relationship and a much stronger bond. And I'm going to share with you a very powerful framework that I learned from a guy, Theo Hicks, and I call it the Theo framework. Theo went out and he added value to somebody, and through that value, he gained proximity. Seeking to serve could mean a way to gain proximity to someone, as in Theo's framework, and it could also mean, how can I add value to the world? And this is how I think about it nowadays. I used to think about seeking to serve because I wanted proximity to individuals. When I first started out, I wanted proximity to individuals so that I could learn from them, right? Success leaves clues, success leaves footprints. I wanted to walk in the footprints of other people so that I didn't have to blaze my own path. I could follow the path that they blazed, and then I could kind of adjust that path and mold that path and shape that path to become my own path. And that's how I look at it. I look at it as how can I add value to other people now? Now that I have the proximity, now I want to share myself, my knowledge, my experience with other people. I want to help uplift them. I'm on a mission to help 112 million people. How can I serve those people? How can I add value to those people? How can I support and love those people? How can I help them find fulfillment in life? And that fulfillment is their fulfillment, whatever they feel. It doesn't mean that that individual that I help goes off stratospherically and turns into the next Bill Gates. I'm not looking to do that. I'm looking to have people think slightly differently, change their paradigm, become in alignment with themselves, not with society. Everybody's out of alignment. I'm gonna give you the clue right here. I'm gonna give you it all right here. Everybody's out of alignment because they're not true to themselves. Once you become true to yourselves, once I became true to myself, I became in alignment. It was like, whoop! It just automatically happened. I was always too worried about what other people thought, what society thought, what people were going to think. Fuck them. I'm going to be myself, and I'm going to attract birds of a feather flock together. I'm going to attract individuals that actually resonate with that. I'm not going to put that facade up. Putting a facade up and being somebody that you're not eventually blows up in your face. So when I'm feeling stuck, when I'm feeling out of alignment, when that noise, the noise of society, because it's still, even though I have that attitude, the noise of society still eats away at me. Things like the election's coming up right now. The Republicans, the Democrats, like, they're all full of shit. They all lie. That's the honest truth. So when I start feeling that, when I start feeling the economy and I can't control any of that, I sit in my office and I stare at my wall. This wall right here. It's my biggest vision board. And I stare at it and I start daydreaming, actually. It changes the brain waves. I start transitioning from alpha to theta. And inevitably, when I'm feeling stuck because of those things, I land on Seek to Serve. It's up in the upper right-hand corner here. You can't see it. It's right above 3 feet to gold. But I land on Seek to Serve. And what does Seek to Serve mean to me? Because these plackets remind me of what I'm about. And I realize that I'm becoming overwhelmed when I'm sitting here and I have all of that outside noise pouring in. My glass of water is becoming muddy and I have to refill it. I realize that I'm becoming overwhelmed with what I can't control. So I think about that. And I think immediately about, how do you eat an elephant? We've all heard that phrase. How do you eat an elephant? You eat an elephant one bite at a time, right? So I think about that. I can't control or even cure the ailments of politicians, right? Like, they're just, to me, they're all hypocrites. They all say one thing and then do something else. If you look at every past election, I'm going to go on a rant here for a second. You look at every past election, they all talk about education. They talk about guns. They talk about lowering taxes. They talk about making America better, right? Trump's coming out right now, his slogans, right? Make America great again. Yeah, the Democrats do the same thing. They talk about how America's going to prosper under them. The funny thing is that they all talk the same game, and they've been talking the same game for 100 years, and they've never done anything to actually lower the taxes. They've never done anything to actually make us as individuals prosper. So they're all full of it. But when I start thinking about that, when I let that noise in, the economy is going to crash, all of this stuff, the ultra powerful people that are pulling the purse strings, right? Like, when I let that stuff in, I can't control any of that. So I think about eating the elephant and one bite at a time, and okay, what can I control? And I can control how I serve. Seek to serve. I can control how I serve individuals, who I serve. I can control the effort and the enthusiasm I put behind that servitude. That enthusiasm I bring to the table. Seeking to serve for me is about changing the world, one mind at a time. It's about the ripple effect, right? It's about making the world a better place. If I could change one mind, when I was a cop, I used to say, if I just helped one kid stay out of jail, if I could just influence one kid when he was on that fence, if I could just affect one life, it would all be worth it. All the holidays I had to work, all of it. It's the same thing here. If I can help one person become in alignment, if I can help just one person change their paradigm, the ripple effect takes over. I'll give you a quick story, a couple of quick stories of what I physically mean. So I started a real estate meetup. During that real estate meetup, I met an individual. And this individual, he tells a really good story about taking action. And his action was, he was sitting at a traffic light once, and if he made the left-hand turn, he was going to go home. But if he went straight, he was going to come to the meetup. And he wasn't sure what he was going to do because a long day, he's tired. And he thought to himself, no, I got to go to that meetup. And he went to the meetup. He came to the meetup. And that meetup is how we were introduced to each other. And then he followed up with me. We started a conversation. We started collaborating together. And he came and he asked, how do I... He was a flipper and he wanted to move into the multifamily world. And he's like, when I go to the bank's giving me resistance because I don't have any multifamily experience. And I shared with him the story of building a financial book. And when you build the financial book, it's basically just a business plan. It's a business plan, very short, it just shows that you've actually done or completed a thought process. This is the market that we're in. This is what I'm seeing in the market. This is experience I have. So he had experience as a flipper. So he brought some of that rehab into his booklet. And he said, listen, I've had other properties that I have rehabbed. So I have the connections in the market for doing the rehab. I've taken projects full circle. This is what I'm seeing in the market on the multifamily scale. And this is what I plan on doing. I plan on following this timeline with this rehab. And because I'm doing this, these are my projections. So he laid out a story for the banker. And the banker ended up approving the loan because of that booklet. Because he brought that to the table. He would have never brought that to the table if I didn't bring it to him. If I wasn't serving him, he wouldn't have brought that to the table. Now fast forward, now he has multiple multifamily properties. And the ripple effect of that is there's a lot of people out there now that have a safe place to live, that aren't living in a slumlord place. They're living in a clean, neat, rehabbed place with a really good landlord. Another quick story. I had a doctor come to my meetup. And the doctor was going through some financial hardship. She had been in other deals that didn't work out. Ended up declaring bankruptcy. Like, she was in a bit of chaos. And all I did was simply support her in moving forward. I supported her in letting her know that things like your past isn't indicative of your future. That you have the ability, you've already displayed the ability, you just have to tweak some things. But you have the ability to move forward. And together, we ended up moving forward. And she's now crushing it. And when that happens, when you see somebody win, it's amazing. So what are some of the ways of serving, right? One way is, let me grab a book. I'm sorry, guys. I wanted to bring this. Hold on a second. One way is being an ambassador. See this book right here? Thou Shall Not Prosper by Rabbi Lapin. How did I gain exposure to that book? I was listening to a Dave Ramsey podcast, and he was speaking about this book. And the way that Ramsey and Lapin came together was Ramsey loved this book so much. Ramsey's like, this is the blueprint to success. You have to read this book and follow this book and take in and absorb the principles. Lapin started selling a whole bunch of books. He was like, where are all these sales coming from? And he traced it back to Dave, and then he called up Dave, and then eventually they built a friendship. They gained proximity. Dave was just being an ambassador. He was adding value to Lapin by promoting his book because the book actually works, and he was being an ambassador to that. So if you find something that you truly believe in, scream it from the rooftops. Another way, this is the Theo Hicks. Theo Hicks, again, another book, right? Theo Hicks was an average Joe. He shows up to a real estate event, and you think I would have came prepared, right? I go off on these rants. Good thing the bookcase is here. Anyway, Theo Hicks. Theo Hicks goes to Joe Fairless. Joe Fairless is a apartment syndicator. Theo Hicks is basically a nobody in this story. Theo shows up. He's just somebody that shows up to a real estate meetup. Joe's speaking about apartment syndications and real estate. Theo feels like, I want to get into real estate. I want to learn. So he goes to events, right? We talked about that earlier. This turned out that he went to a seminar, a meetup, and it was a free one. He went there to gain proximity and to learn. He listened to Joe. Joe was saying how he had a problem, not a problem, but he had a challenge. He didn't understand YouTube. He didn't understand the videos. This going back a ways. Joe's challenge became Theo's product. It became Theo's. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Joe's challenge became Theo's thing. Joe had a challenge. It was, how do I produce and put up YouTube videos? Theo went out. Theo created an entire, kind of like a business plan, like a one-page business plan. Joe, this is what I can do for you. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to produce them. This is how we're going to get them out. And if you allow me, I would love to do this for you. So Theo was seeking to serve Joe and advance Joe. When Theo sent that to Joe, Joe looked at it and was like, oh, this is amazing. We have to talk to this guy. And they collaborated together. So collaboration, right? They collaborated together. And now Theo is a best-selling author. He's writing books with Joe Fellas. And that all happened because he seeked to serve Joe. Amazing things can happen when you look through the lens of just going out there and helping people, right? If you're looking to just serve people without actually expecting anything in return. So I like to offer actionable content, right? Like, so, oh yeah, like I have you buy in, right? You brought into, oh yeah, Seeking to Serve is a really good idea. I can see how it really will prosper and help the world, and I'll get fulfillment out of it because I'm actually spreading the word. But I don't know anybody. I don't want proximity to anybody. Seeking to serve doesn't necessarily mean you have to gain proximity to somebody. This is going back years and years and years, and I still do it now. It's part of now it's just a habit. But when I started to really seek to serve, you could serve in so many different ways. You could serve in the two ways that I explained. But if you're looking to build momentum, if this is something that you're just starting out with, you could do it in 100 million different ways. You could pick up the can on the street and throw it into the trash, right? That's one way. You can hold the door open for the person behind you. You can bring the neighbor's trash cans in. Maybe you have an elderly neighbor that you can help out. You bring the trash cans in. You could smile at a stranger. You can offer somebody a fantastic day. Have a fantastic day. They're going to look at you like you're crazy, because I do this all the time. When I'm in the Walmart parking lot, like I'm walking through the Walker, have a great day. They're like, who is that guy? Like, because nobody does this, but they smile. They end up gaining a little smile. You can leave a bottle of water out for the mailman on a hot day, right? You can thank a cop. You can send thank you cards. I have a box of thank you cards right here. And when I want to send a thank you card, I can just reach in and pull out that thank you card, scratch it out real quick, and send it off. It's right here in my office, right on the top of my bookcase, so that it's immediate. Another great way of serving somebody, adding value to somebody's life. I'm at the grocery store. The clerk helps me out. I write a quick handwritten, because nobody does handwritten anymore. Handwritten note. Just want to let you know that Bobby helped me out the other day. I was having a problem. He went into the back. He searched for this one ingredient I needed for my recipe, and because he did that, I was able to make dinner for my family. Just want you to know that Bobby really went above and beyond, and I truly appreciate it. How long did that take you? It took you 30 seconds to write it. The next time you're in the grocery store, you drop it off, and that's it. Right? But that's going in somebody's file. It makes people feel good. It creates that ripple effect, right? You can offer to, you're in the aisle of the store. You can offer to grab something. You see somebody kind of like reaching up, right? You can offer to go over there and grab it off the shelf for them. You could offer to load plywood. Like, I go through this all the time. I'm in Home Depot. There's one guy trying to pick up the plywood and get it onto the cart or the sheetrock. Big things that are not easy to move around. When you just walk over there, it takes you 30 seconds. Here, let me just help you like lift this up. No big deal. Right? Lift it up, lay it down. Are you good? Yeah. See you later. That's it. Quick, easy thing. Smile. This is a big one. Give a loving smile, like an understanding smile, to that mom that's in the store with their kid in the cart that's just irate. She's not like, she's just having one of those days. Just give her a loving smile. Let her know you understand. Let her know that it's no big deal. We've all gone through it. Imagine the effect that has on her. It may just get her through the day. So there's so many ways that you could start the momentum of this. And the more you do it, the more opportunities that arise because you're in tune to doing it. Right? Muhammad Ali has a wonderful quote that sums all of this up. And that quote is, service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. So how will you pay your rent today? Guys, we live up here in the numerator, not down in the denominator. Go out there today and be unstoppable and absolutely crush your day. I love spending time with you guys. Have a blessed day.